The alarm screamed through the bridge of the rescue ship Mercy's Wing. "Commander!" Dexrol lifted 2 of his 6 arms to silence it, his scaled face showing concern. A distress beacon blinked on the screen, weak but steady, coming from the Vortian expanse. "How old is that signal?" Dexrol asked his navigation officer. 21 days, Commander," the officer replied, her antenna twitching nervously. "It's from the human cargo vessel Prairie Dawn. Records show it was attacked by pirates 3 weeks ago." Dexrol felt his stomach sink. 3 weeks in space without rescue meant one thing: death. The cold void showed no mercy to the living. Even in the best survival pods, most species had perhaps 5 or 6 days before their systems failed. Humans, he knew, were even more fragile. They needed constant oxygen, warmth, and pressure. Strip those away, and they died in minutes. "Set course anyway," he ordered. "We recover bodies, if nothing else. Families deserve closure." The Mercy's Wing pushed through hyperspace, arriving at the debris field 6 hours later. What remained of the Prairie Dawn spread across thousands of kilometers, twisted metal and frozen cargo spinning slowly in the dark. Dexrol had seen scenes like this before. They always left him feeling hollow. "Begin scanning for the beacon source," he said quietly. The science officer, a young Vorlian named Kess, worked the sensors with practiced efficiency. Her scales flickered blue with concentration. "Found it, Commander. The beacon is attached to a section of the crew quarters. Hull integrity at 0. Internal temperature reading -270 degrees. Any life signs?" Dexrol asked, though he already knew the answer. Kess hesitated. Her scale shifted to purple, a sign of confusion. "Commander, the scanner shows something, but it must be broken. It registers a heartbeat." "Impossible," Dr. Salik said from her station. The medical officer was a Zentari, her 4 eyes capable of seeing into the infrared spectrum. She'd been a doctor for 40 years and had seen every kind of death the universe offered. Nothing lives that long in hard vacuum. "The scanner is picking up residual electrical signals from the wreckage." "We check anyway," Dexrol said. "Prepare a boarding team." They suited up and crossed the void in a small shuttle. The section of hull spun lazily, its surface scorched black from the explosion that had torn apart. Through the windows, Dexrol could see frozen crystals coating the interior. Those were once liquids, water and blood and other fluids. Now they were ice. The team cut through the outer wall with plasma torches. The metal peeled back like paper. Inside, frost covered every surface in thick white layers. Dexrol's suit lights cut through the darkness, revealing overturned furniture and scattered belongings. A photo frame drifted past, its image obscured by ice. "Life sign is ahead," Kess reported, her voice tight with disbelief. 20 meters forward, behind that bulkhead. They moved carefully through the frozen compartment. The floor crunched under their boots. When they reached the bulkhead, Dexrol placed his hand against it. His suit sensors confirmed what Kess had found. Something on the other side had a heartbeat. Slow, impossibly slow, but present. "Cut it open," he ordered. The plasma torch burned bright blue. Metal groaned and split. The bulkhead fell away, revealing a small storage space behind it. And there, curled in a corner, was a human. Dr. Salix pushed forward, her medical scanner already active. "This cannot be," she whispered. The human male was frozen solid. Ice crystals covered his skin and hair. His lips were blue-black, his face mottled with severe frostbite. He wore only a thin maintenance uniform, completely inadequate for space exposure. By every law of biology that Dr. Salix knew, he should have been dead within 2 minutes of the hull breach. "Vitals," Dexrol demanded. "Heart rate 3 beats per minute," Dr. Salix said, her voice shaking. "Core temperature 28 degrees by human standards. Blood oxygen should be 0. Brain activity minimal. Commander, this human has been exposed to hard vacuum for 3 weeks. His blood should be frozen. His cells should be ruptured. He should be dead. But he's not, Dexrol said simply. They move fast, wrapping the human in thermal blankets and rushing him back to the Mercy's wing. In the medical bay, Dr. Salix worked with frantic precision. She'd treated humans before. They were soft creatures, easily broken. Their bones snapped under pressure. Their skin tore. Their organs failed when subjected to extremes. They were average in every physical measure. Compared to other spacefaring species, this should not be happening. She pumped warmth into the human's body slowly, carefully. Too fast and his tissues would rupture. She oxygenated his blood. She stimulated his heart. She watched the monitors climb from death toward life. A journey that should have been impossible. And then, as the human's core temperature reached 35 degrees, his eyes opened. They were brown, bloodshot, and filled with pain. His cracked lips moved. Dr. Salix leaned close, activating the translator. "Took you," the human whispered, his voice like gravel. "Long enough?" Then he closed his eyes again and slipped into unconsciousness. Dr. Salix stepped back, her hands trembling. Commander Dexrol stood in the doorway, watching. "Get his identification," the commander said quietly. Kesh checked the records. Marcus Chen, age 34, human. Position, freight coordinator. No military service. No genetic modifications on file. No special training. She looked up. "He's nobody special, Commander. Just a regular human." Dexrol studied the unconscious man on the medical table. Regular human. Regular human. The words felt wrong somehow. He'd been in space for 50 years. He'd worked with dozens of species. He thought he understood humans and their limitations. Apparently, he'd been wrong. "Monitor him constantly," Dexrol ordered. "I want to know how this was possible." As the crew dispersed, Dr. Salix remained by Marcus Chen's bedside. She pulled up his medical history from the Galactic database. What she found made her scales pale. Marcus Chen had been in 17 separate incidents over the past decade. A shuttle crash. A reactor leak. An outbreak of Vermilion Plague. A decompression accident. Each one should have killed him. Each one hadn't. "What are you?" Dr. Salix whispered to the sleeping human. Marcus Chen didn't answer. His chest rose and fell, steady now. His heart beat at a normal pace. His body temperature normalized. It was as if the 3 weeks in frozen vacuum had been nothing more than a bad dream. But Dr. Salix knew better. She'd seen the readings. She'd seen the evidence. This human had done something impossible, and she needed to understand why. Marcus woke to bright lights and the smell of antiseptic. His body ached everywhere, a deep pain that went all the way to his bones. He tried to sit up, but hands pressed him down gently. 4 hands, he noticed. Not human hands. "Stay still," a voice said. "You're safe now." His vision cleared slowly. A face leaned over him, reptilian with 4 dark eyes. Dr. Salix, his memory supplied. The medical officer. He was on the rescue ship. How long? Marcus asked. His throat felt like sandpaper. "You've been unconscious for 18 hours, Dr. Salix said. "Your body needed time to recover." Recover. The word almost made Marcus laugh. He remembered the cold, the terrible cold that had seeped into his bones when the hull breached. He remembered his breath freezing in his lungs. He remembered thinking this was finally it. This was the end. He remembered being wrong. "I need to run tests," Dr. Salix said. Her voice was gentle but firm. "Many tests. What happened to you should not be possible." Over the next 2 days, Marcus became Dr. Salix's favorite puzzle. She scanned every part of him. She took blood samples, tissue samples, genetic samples. She measured his brain waves and his heart rhythm. She studied his cells under microscopes and his DNA under scanners. Marcus sat through it all patiently. He'd been through medical exams before, after the other incidents. Doctors always looked at him like he was a miracle or a mystery. He didn't feel like either. He just felt tired. "Your cells," Dr. Selig said on the third day, pulling up images on a screen. "Look at them." Marcus looked. To him, they just looked like cells. "When your body was exposed to vacuum," Dr. Selig continued, "your cells should have ruptured. The pressure differential should have torn them apart. Instead, they adapted. Your cell wall strengthened. Your mitochondria, the parts that make energy, they changed how they worked. They slowed down to almost nothing, but kept your critical functions alive. Is that unusual?" Marcus asked. Dr. Salix made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Unusual? It's impossible. Cells don't adapt in real time like that. Evolution takes generations. What you did, your body did it in minutes." She pulled up more data. "And your blood. When we found you, your blood had developed proteins similar to what some deep-cold fish have. Antifreeze proteins. They kept ice crystals from forming and destroying your blood cells. Humans don't have those proteins naturally. You shouldn't have been able to make them." Marcus shrugged, which made his shoulders hurt. "I don't know what to tell you, Doc. I didn't do it on purpose." "That's what frightens me," Dr. Salix said quietly. "This wasn't voluntary. Your body did this automatically. It refused to die." Commander Dex Rawl visited that afternoon. The big Vorlian had to duck to enter the medical bay. He studied Marcus with his sharp golden eyes. "Feeling better?" the commander asked. "I felt worse," Marcus said honestly. Dex Rawl settled into a chair, folding his 6 arms. "I've been reading your file, Mr. Chun. You've had quite a few close calls." Marcus tensed. Here it came. The questions. The suspicions. 8 years ago, you were in a shuttle crash on Kepler 442b, Dex Rawl said. The crash killed everyone else instantly. You walked away with a concussion. I was lucky, Marcus said. 6 years ago, you were exposed to reactor coolant. Class 5 hazard. Fatal within hours. You were sick for a week, then recovered. Strong immune system. 4 years ago, you contracted vermilion plague. The database says it has a 99.8% fatality rate. You got better without treatment. Marcus said nothing. Dex Rawl leaned forward. I don't believe in luck, Mr. Chun, and 17 near-death experiences goes beyond chance. What are you? I'm nobody, Marcus said, and he meant it. I'm a freight coordinator. I load cargo and fill out paperwork. I'm not special. I don't have modifications or enhancements. I'm just a regular human who happens to be really bad at dying. Or really good at living. Dex Rawl corrected. Dr. Salix joined them, a tablet glowing with data. I've consulted with medical experts across 4 different species. None of them can explain this. Human baseline physiology doesn't allow for what we've observed. Then maybe our understanding of human baseline is wrong, Dex Rawl said. What do you mean? Marcus asked. The commander stood, pacing slowly. I've been in space for 50 years. I've worked with many humans. Most are as fragile as the databases say. They die easily, but some, a rare few, don't. They survive things they shouldn't. They recover from injuries that should be fatal. They push through when logic says they should stop. He turned to face Marcus. I think humans have something most species don't. It's not physical. It's not in your muscles or your bones. It's in your mind. You refuse to give up. When every cell in your body should quit, something in your brain says no. And somehow, impossibly, your body listens. Willpower doesn't change biology. Dr. Salix protested. Doesn't it? Dexrol asked. What is the placebo effect? What are psychosomatic illnesses? The mind and body are connected. Maybe in humans, that connection is stronger than we thought. Maybe when a human truly refuses to die, their body fights harder than any medicine or treatment could make it fight. Marcus thought about this. He thought about lying in that frozen compartment, his consciousness fading. He remembered thinking about his sister back on Earth, how she'd worry if he died. He remembered thinking about his crewmates, wondering if they'd made it. He remembered thinking, with stubborn clarity, that he wasn't done yet. I don't want to be the guy who survives everything, Marcus said softly. Every time this happens, I lose people. Friends, colleagues, good people die, and I walk away. That's not a gift. That's a curse. Dr. Salix's expression softened. You feel guilty. Of course I do, Marcus said. The Prairie Dawn had a crew of 23. I'm the only one left. Why me? Why do I get to live when they don't? Dexrol placed a heavy hand on Marcus's shoulder. Because the universe is random and cruel, Mr. Chan. But maybe, just maybe, you survive so you can tell their story. So someone remembers they existed. The words hit Marcus hard. He'd never thought of it that way. We're 2 days from Station Kepler 9, Dexrol said. You can get transport back to Earth from there. In the meantime, rest. Let your body finish healing. As the commander left, Dr. Salix remained. She looked at Marcus with something like wonder. The crew has started calling you something, she said. The human who wouldn't die. Marcus closed his eyes. Great. I'll never live that down. Perhaps that's the point, Dr. Salix said gently. You don't. Alone in the medical bay, Marcus stared at the ceiling. His body still ached. His memories of the cold still haunted him. But he was alive, impossibly alive, and he didn't know whether to be grateful or angry about it. Outside the window, stars drifted past in the endless dark. Marcus watched them and wondered how many more times he'd cheat death before it. Finally caught up with him, he had a feeling he'd daze. Find out sooner than he wanted. The proximity alarm woke everyone on the Mercy's wing at 400 hours. Marcus, still recovering in the medical bay, heard the crew rushing to their stations. Something was wrong. Commander Dex Ryle's voice came through the ship speakers. All hands, we have a derelict vessel drifting into our flight path. Adjusting course. Marcus sat up slowly. His body felt better, almost normal. The bruising had faded. The frostbite damage had healed faster than Dr. Salix expected. Just another impossibility to add to the list. He pulled on a borrowed uniform and made his way to the bridge. Dex Rahl looked surprised to see him. You should be resting, the commander said. I'm fine, Marcus replied. What's going on? On the main screen, a massive ship hung in space. It was old, ancient even, its hull covered in centuries of micrometeor damage. The design was unfamiliar to Marcus, all sharp angles and aggressive lines. Crethian dreadnought, Kess said quietly. From the Purge Wars, over 400 years old. Why is it out here? Marcus asked. Drifting, Dexrol said. Probably abandoned during the war. The Crethians lost and their fleet scattered. Most were destroyed or salvaged long ago. Dr. Salix arrived on the bridge, her medical bag in hand. We should avoid it. Ships from that era are dangerous. Scans show an active power core, Kess reported. Small but functional. That's worth investigating. Dex Rao was silent for a long moment. Marcus could see the calculation in his eyes. A functioning power core from a Crethian dreadnought could be worth millions. The Mercy's wing was a rescue vessel, underfunded and undermanned. That kind of salvage could keep them operating for years. We'll do a quick survey, Dexrol decided. 2 hours maximum. If anything seems wrong, we leave immediately. The boarding party consisted of Dexrol, Marcus, Dr. Salix, Cass, and 2 security officers. They crossed to the Dreadnought in a shuttle, docking at one of the auxiliary airlocks. The seal was ancient but still held. Atmospheric readings inside are stable, Cass reported. Oxygen-nitrogen mix. Temperature is cool but breathable. Why would an abandoned ship still have atmosphere? Dr. Salix asked. Life support must be tied to the power core, Dexrol said. Stay alert. The airlock opened with a hiss. Stale air rushed out, carrying a smell that made Marcus's nose wrinkle. Something organic, something old and wrong. They entered the Dreadnought slowly. Emergency lighting flickered along the corridors, casting red shadows. The walls were covered in what looked like dried organic material, like someone had painted them with something living that had long since died. This place gives me a bad feeling, one of the security officers muttered. Marcus agreed. Every instinct told him to turn around and leave. But they pushed forward, following the corridor toward the power core signature. The ship was a maze of passages and chambers. Krethian design was chaotic, reflecting their multi-dimensional thinking. Several times the team had to backtrack when corridors led to dead ends or collapsed sections. They found the first body in what looked like a medical bay. It was Krethian, the 4-armed skeleton still wearing fragments of armor. The bones were scattered, torn apart violently. Combat damage? Kess asked. Dr. Salix examined the remains. No, these bones were broken from the inside out. Something burst through them. Marcus felt his stomach turn. We should leave. Agreed, Dexrol said, but before he could give the order, Kess gasped. Commander, the airlock we came through just sealed itself. The ship's eye has activated. On Kess's scanner, a map of the Dreadnought appeared. Red lights marked sealed bulkheads throughout the vessel. They were trapped inside. Override it, Dexrol ordered. Trying, Kess said, her fingers flying over her controls. The system is ancient, but still protected. It'll take time. A sound echoed through the corridor. Wet, slithering, wrong. Dr. Salix's 4 eyes widened. We need to move, now. They ran. The corridors twisted around them, the emergency lights creating dancing shadows. Behind them, the sound grew louder, closer. Marcus risked a glance back and wished he hadn't. Something moved in the darkness. It wasn't quite liquid and wasn't quite solid. It flowed along the walls and ceiling, a mass of organic matter that pulsed with sickly bioluminescence. As Marcus watched, it absorbed a piece of debris, breaking it down instantly. Harvester, Dr. Salix gasped, running beside him. Krethian biological weapon. They used it during the wars. What does it do? Marcus shouted. Consumes organic matter. Learns from it. Incorporates it. She was breathing hard. It's why the ship was abandoned. The Harvester got loose and killed the crew. Why is it still alive after 400 years? It doesn't die, Dr. Salix said. It goes dormant when there's no food. We woke it up. The team reached a large chamber, some kind of cargo bay. The Dexrol sealed the door behind them. Through the window, they could see the Harvester flowing closer, testing the door with pseudopods. It'll get through eventually, Dexrol said. Kess, can you unlock the airlocks from here? No, Kess said. I need access to the main computer core. Where is that? Kess checked her scanner. Through 3 corridors and past 2 sealed bulkheads. And the Harvester is between us and it. They were trapped. Marcus looked around at the team. These people had saved his life. Now they were going to die because of a salvage mission, because Dexrol had made a bad call. He touched his arm where Dr. Salix had taken blood samples days ago. The puncture marks had already healed. His body his impossible body that refused to die. "I have an idea," Marcus said quietly. Dr. Salix looked at him with dawning horror. "No. What idea?" Dexrol asked. Marcus met the commander's eyes. "The harvester consumes organic matter, right? It infects living things?" "Yes," Dr. Salix said. "It enters the bloodstream and takes over the nervous system. The host becomes a puppet, used to spread the infection further. Death occurs within hours. For most species," Marcus said. "But what about a human who doesn't know how to die?" "Marcus, no," Dr. Salix said firmly. "The harvester is invariably fatal. Your survival ability has limits, does it?" Marcus asked. "You couldn't explain how I survived vacuum. You couldn't explain any of it. My body fights impossible odds and wins. Maybe it can fight this too. And if you're wrong?" Dexrol asked. "Then I die doing something useful," Marcus said. "Instead of just surviving while others don't." He could see them starting to understand. His guilt, his survivor's burden, had been weighing on him. This was his chance to turn his curse into something meaningful. "If I let the harvester infect me," Marcus continued, "and if my body fights it off, my blood might develop antibodies. Dr. Salix, could you synthesize a cure from that?" Dr. Salix was silent for a long moment. Finally, she said, "Theoretically, yes. If your immune system could produce the right antibodies. But Marcus, the harvester is designed to overcome immune responses. It's killed thousands of species. It hasn't killed a human yet," Marcus said. "At least, not this human." Dexrol placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "You understand what you're volunteering for? The pain will be immense. You might not survive." Marcus smiled grimly. "Commander, I should have died in vacuum 3 weeks ago. I should have died a dozen times before that. If I'm going to keep living when others don't, I might as well make it count." He walked to the door before anyone could stop him. Behind him, Dr. Salix called out, "Marcus, even if you survive, it will destroy you. The harvester attacks every cell in your body. The agony will be beyond anything you've experienced." Marcus put his hand on the door control. "Then I'd better survive fast." He opened the door and stepped through, sealing it behind him. The harvester waited in the corridor, a writhing mass of deadly purpose. Marcus took a deep breath and walked toward it. "Come on then," he said to the darkness. "Let's see which one of us is more stubborn." The harvester struck faster than Marcus expected. One moment it was flowing toward him. The next it had wrapped around his arm like a living rope. He felt it burn through his uniform and into his skin. The pain was immediate and total. It felt like acid in his veins, fire in his bones. Marcus screamed but didn't pull away. He needed this. He needed the harvester to infect him completely if his plan had any chance of working. Through the cargo bay window, he could see Dr. Salix watching with all 4 eyes wide with horror. Dexrol stood beside her, his face unreadable. Marcus tried to smile at them, but the pain made his muscles spasm. The harvester flowed up his arm and across his chest. He could feel it entering his bloodstream, spreading through his body with terrible purpose. It was searching for his nervous system, trying to take control. Marcus's vision blurred. His legs gave out and he fell to his knees. This was different from the cold of vacuum. That had been slow, a gradual shutting down. This was an invasion, a war inside his own body. The harvester was attacking everything at once, his blood cells, his organs, his brain. But Marcus's body was already fighting back. He felt it happening. The same impossible adaptation that had saved him before. His immune system kicked into overdrive. His white blood cells multiplied at impossible speeds, attacking the harvester with savage efficiency. His body temperature spiked, trying to burn out the infection. The harvester didn't expect resistance. It was designed to overwhelm immune systems instantly. But human immune systems, Marcus's immune system, didn't know when to quit. He crawled forward down the corridor, leaving the cargo bay behind. The harvester tried to puppet his limbs, but his nervous system fought for control. His hands shook. His muscles contracted randomly. But he kept moving Dot in his mind. Marcus made himself a promise. He would not die here. He would not let this alien weapon win. He would survive, and his survival would save the others. The hours that followed blurred together in agony. Marcus moved through the dreadnought like a ghost, the harvester coating his body, his immune system waging war inside him. He vomited blood. He collapsed and dragged himself forward. He felt his heart stop twice, and somehow, impossibly, it started again. His fever climbed to heights that should have killed him. His brain should have shut down. His organs should have failed. By every medical standard, Marcus Chun should have died. He didn't. Through his fading consciousness, Marcus navigated by instinct. He needed the medical bay. The Krethian medical bay would have synthesis equipment. If he could get there, if he could stay alive long enough, Dr. Salix could make a cure. The harvester sensed his intent and fought harder. It sent tendrils into his brain, trying to stop him. Marcus felt his memories scatter. He saw his sister's face, then his mother's, then people he didn't recognize. Past and present mixed together, but one thought remained clear. Not yet. Not now. Not while they need me. He found the medical bay through a haze of pain. The equipment was ancient, but still powered. Marcus collapsed against a terminal, his fingers barely responding to his commands. He accessed the synthesis protocols, uploading them to Dr. Salix's scanner over the ship's network. Then he lay on a medical table and let the harvester do its worst. Time lost meaning. Marcus existed in a state between life and death, his body a battlefield. The harvester consumed and his immune system rebuilt. They destroyed each other and reformed, locked in a cycle that should have been impossible. Through it all, Marcus held on. Not because he wanted to live, but because he refused to die. There was a difference, he realized. Living was hoping for tomorrow. Not dying was just too stubborn to quit today. Somewhere in the endless pain, Marcus heard a voice. "Stay with me," Dr. Salix said. She was beside him somehow. The cargo bay door must have opened. "Your antibodies are working. I'm synthesizing them now." Marcus tried to speak, but blood came out instead. "Don't talk," Dr. Salix said gently. "Just survive a little longer. You're doing the impossible again, Marcus. Your body is producing antibodies that shouldn't exist. The harvester is losing, was it?" Marcus couldn't tell anymore. Everything hurt. Everything was broken. But his heart still beat. His lungs still pulled air. His brain still sparked with thought. "Almost there," Dr. Salix said. Behind her, Marcus could see the rest of the team. Deshral watched with something like awe. Kes had tears running down her face. The security officers stood silent. They were all infected too, Marcus realized. The harvester had spread while he was fighting it. They showed early symptoms, the clouded eyes and trembling hands. "Done," Dr. Salix announced. She held up a syringe filled with dark red liquid. "Marcus, your blood has defeated the harvester. This is the cure." She injected it into his arm. Then she moved to the others, administering the treatment one by one. Marcus watched as the infection retreated from their bodies. The antibodies from his blood, cleansing the harvester from their systems, it worked. His impossible plan had worked. The harvester made one final attempt to consume Marcus. It concentrated all its remaining mass, flowing into his body for a killing strike. Marcus felt it reaching for his heart. His immune system met it there. The battle was brief and brutal. Marcus's vision went white with pain. He heard someone screaming and realized it was him. Then, suddenly, the pain stopped. The harvester was dead. consumed by the very antibodies it had tried to overcome. Marcus's body had done what the Krethian Empire couldn't. It had killed an unkillable weapon. Marcus lay on the table, breathing hard. His body was covered in burns and wounds where the Harvester had tried to break through. But he was alive. Impossibly, stubbornly alive. "You did it," Dexrol said quietly. "You saved us all." Marcus closed his eyes. Someone had to? Dr. Salix worked quickly, treating Marcus's injuries and monitoring the others. The antibodies spread through their systems, eliminating the last traces of infection. Within hours, everyone was stable. Cass managed to unlock the Dreadnought systems and open the airlocks. They evacuated quickly, none of them wanting to spend another moment on that cursed ship. Back on the Mercy's wing, Marcus slept for 2 days straight. When he woke, his body had already begun healing the worst of the damage. Dr. Salix called it miraculous. Marcus called it exhausting. Dexrol visited him in the medical bay. The commander looked tired but relieved. "We've reported the Dreadnought to Coalition Command," Dexrol said. "They'll send a military team to secure it and destroy any remaining Harvester traces. Your actions likely saved thousands of lives. If that ship had drifted into a populated system—" "I don't want to meddle," Marcus said quickly. "I know," Dexrol said. "But you'll get recognition anyway. The Coalition needs to know about humans like you. About what your species can do when pushed to the limit." Marcus thought about that. Humans who wouldn't die. Humans who survived the impossible. Maybe it wasn't just him. Maybe it was all of them. Every human who ever looked at death and said, "Not today." "Commander," Marcus said quietly, "why do you think humans are like this?" Dexrol considered the question. Most species in the galaxy evolved on worlds that were kind to them. Safe, stable. Humans evolved on a death world. Your planet tried to kill you with predators, diseases, weather, and disasters. Your evolution was forged in constant survival. You learned to adapt or die, and your entire species chose to adapt. "We're stubborn," Marcus said. "You're survivors," Dexrol corrected. "Every cell in your body knows how to fight because your ancestors fought for millions of years. That knowledge doesn't go away just because you reach the stars." The Mercy's wing arrived at Station Kepler 9 the next day. Marcus prepared to transfer to a transport heading to Earth. Dr. Salix gave him a clean bill of health, though she still seemed amazed every time she looked at his scans. "Your body is already completely healed," she said. "The tissue damage, the cellular destruction, all of it repaired. In any other species, recovery would take months." "How long for humans?" Marcus asked. "Based on your case?" 4 days. Shook her head. "I've written a paper about you." "Well, about your species. I think the medical community needs to reconsider human physiology. You're not average. You're remarkable." "I'm just one person," Marcus said. "No," Dr. Salix said firmly. "You're an example. You showed us what humans are capable of when they refuse to quit. That's not something to dismiss." At the airlock, the entire crew came to say goodbye. Cass hugged him, tears in her eyes. The security officers saluted. Dexrol clasped his shoulder with one massive hand. "Thank you, Marcus Chun," the commander said, "for reminding us that survival isn't about being the strongest. It's about refusing to give up." Marcus smiled. "Just doing what humans do." "Exactly," Dexrol said. "That's what makes you special." Marcus boarded the transport and found a window seat. As the Mercy's wing grew smaller in the distance, he thought about everything that had happened. The cold of vacuum, the pain of the Harvester, the choice to fight when fighting seemed pointless. He'd survived again. He'd saved lives this time, instead of just watching others die. Maybe that made it worth it. Maybe that's what his stubborn refusal to die was for. To be there when others needed someone who wouldn't quit. The transport jumped to hyperspace, carrying Marcus home to Earth. He leaned back in his seat and closed his eyes. His body was tired but whole. His mind was quiet but content. Somewhere in the galaxy, other humans were surviving impossible things. They were adapting, fighting, refusing to accept defeat. They were proving every day that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology or their weapons. It was in their absolute stubborn refusal to die. And Marcus Chen, the human who wouldn't die, smiled and thought, "That's not a bad legacy to have."